We all know the story of Little Women, and no matter what year you were born, you've probably had the chance to see one of the adaptations that exist. Even before the birth of cinema, this novel was at the top of the list. But after many years, only one director managed to hit the nail on the head with great precision. This was Greta Gerwig, who supposedly managed to preserve the spirit of the original story. But how true is that? That's why today we're going to take a look back at the 2019 adaptation, and we're also going to briefly mention the ones that came before. So let's get started. But of course, before we dive into the story we all saw, we have to praise and talk about the original story, right? The one that started this dynasty of adaptations is still the best version of the story. Over 150 years ago, Little Women was published, a classic of girls' literature written by Louisa May Alcott, which was quite the opposite of what was being written at the time. Since the birth of cinema, every generation has had its own adaptation of the novel. The last movie before Greta Gerwig's was released in 1994, so it was to be expected that we would have a new reinvention of the book for our generation. The original story of Little Women was created by Louisa May Alcott, an American novelist and educator who was born in Germantown in 1832 and died in Boston in 1888. The novel was published in two parts in 1868. Alcott drew on her own family and life experiences to create the story. The novel is semi-autobiographical and deals with the life of the March family in Concord, Massachusetts. Alcott was educated by such figures as Henry David Thoreau, Ralph Waldo Emerson, and Nathaniel Hawthorne, and was influenced by the transcendentalist circles of Boston and Concord. The novel is a vivid picture of American life in the second half of the 19th century and has been made into several films. Alcott also wrote other novels such as Little Men, 1871, Eight Cousins, 1875, Rose in Bloom, 1876, and Jo's Boys, 1886. There have been thousands of television versions, as well as numerous stage plays. There's even been an opera based on the story, but today we'll just focus on the film adaptations. During the silent film era, there were two adaptations in 1917 and 1918 that are now lost. No one has seen them since, so we can't say much about them. Moving on to the sound era, in 1933 we have Little Women, considered the best film based on Louisa May Alcott's book, directed by the master George Cukor and starring four-time Oscar-winning actress Katharine Hepburn. In 1949, we had another movie, now called Little Women, directed by Mervyn LeRoy. This is almost a copy of the 33 version, but it's the era of color cinema, with great actresses like Elizabeth Taylor or Janet Leigh in the cast. Jumping ahead a few years to the 90s, we have Gillian Armstrong's Little Women, which is clearly the weakest of all the adaptations, lacking the charm or emotion to tell the powerful story she intended. However, we do get to see the young Christian Bale, Kirsten Dunst, and Winona Ryder take their first steps on the big screen, accompanied by the impressive Susan Sarandon. Still, it's not enough to lift the final product. Louisa May Alcott's novel, Little Women, has been adapted several times, each with its own focus and style. The first sound version was directed by George Cukor in 1933. In this version, Katharine Hepburn played Jo, who struggles to be a writer and find her place in the world. Joan Bennett played Amy, the youngest and most vain sister, and Jean Parker played Beth, the sweetest and most fragile sister. The movie was a box office hit and received positive reviews. In 1949, Mervyn LeRoy directed a new version. In this version, June Allison played Jo, Elizabeth Taylor played Meg, Peter Lawford played Laurie, Janet Leigh played Meg, Margaret O'Brien played Beth, and Mary Astor played Marmee. This version was nominated for an Academy Award for its art direction. In 1994, Gillian Armstrong directed an adaptation that was the first directed, written, and produced by women. This version starred Winona Ryder as Jo, Trini Alvarado as Meg, Kirsten Dunst as Amy, and Claire Danes as Beth. The movie was a box office success and received positive reviews. Now we come to the 2019 film, which is the one that most closely resembles Cukor's film, but still goes its own way and brings freshness and relevance to the story. We already mentioned that it was directed by Greta Gerwig, already known for Lady Bird or for working with her husband Noah Baumbach on many of his films like Greenberg, Frances Ha, or Mistress America. It's the most faithful to the spirit of the novel, but with a completely different screenplay structure. It starts at the end, and from the chronologically disorganized fractures of Jo March, the protagonist, they tell us the story. This is done in two completely different timelines or levels of the story. When we see scenes with high-quality imagery, we are shown the beautiful past where everyone is young, with dreams and ambitions, and enjoying being together as a family. When we see cold tones, we are told of the tragic and harsh present, where the characters have already grown up, matured, and hardened because of what they have gone through. They have left that childish joy behind and become adults. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about the performances and what we thought of them. The performances in the movie, starting with Saoirse Ronan as Jo March, are quite passionate. She portrays an expressive and free-spirited character in her actions, unafraid of the consequences and acting impulsively. However, the cameras don't capture everything because we also have Florence Pugh, who is an actress we really like. She portrays Amy, a character who undergoes remarkable growth and maturation throughout the movie. We see her go from a whiny, spoiled teenager to a stronger, more thoughtful person who is transformed by the passage of time. I'd also like to mention Timothée Chalamet, an actor we greatly admire. He plays Laurie, and thanks to him, we see the many facets of the character, both dark and bright. He's a versatile actor who can play a wide range of roles. I wanted to point out a weakness in the movie, like Emma Watson's character. Although she's an excellent actress, her character felt a bit overshadowed to give more prominence to other characters. Still, she's an excellent actress, and her character could have had more depth. Unfortunately, her character felt a bit overshadowed compared to these great actors. Finally, we wanted to mention the performances of two great actresses that we greatly admire, Meryl Streep and Laura Dern. Their characters served their purpose. Though not remarkable, they were adequate. They didn't reach the depths of other characters, but we think that was more due to the script than to their acting abilities. Overall, they were fine. The 2019 adaptation of Little Women, directed by Greta Gerwig, was well received both at the box office and by critics. The film premiered in U.S. theaters on December 25, 2019, and grossed $108 million worldwide. In the U.S., the movie grossed $45 million, making it the highest-grossing PG-rated film of 2019. Critics have also praised the film. On the website Rotten Tomatoes, the movie has a 95% rating based on 367 reviews, with an average rating of 8.3 to 10. The site's critical consensus reads, "Led by an exceptional cast and intelligent storytelling, Greta Gerwig's new take on Little Women is an adaptation that feels fresh and vital, offering a fresh perspective on a timeless classic." On the Metacritic website, the film has a score of 91 out of 100 based on 52 reviews, indicating universal acclaim. The film has also received multiple award nominations, including 6 Academy Awards, 3 Los Angeles Film Critics Association Awards, 2 New York Film Critics Circle Awards, and 2 Chicago Film Critics Association Awards. Overall, the 2019 adaptation of Little Women was a success both at the box office and with critics. The film offered a fresh perspective on a timeless classic and was praised for its exceptional cast and intelligent storytelling. So yes, Greta hit the mark. So folks, no, Greta didn't become famous because of Barbie. She had already done great work before, and this is proof of that. A woman who always knows how to evoke and really create characters and give them a voice. I'll go out of my way to say that this is perhaps one of Greta's greatest achievements. It marks a true before and after, that not even the best movies of today have been as well received as this one, isn't it? Well, before I go, I would like to leave you with our final opinion of the movie. I really liked it. I thought it was a very faithful adaptation to the spirit of the novel, but it also brought new things, freshness, and relevance to the story. And honestly, I really liked how the direction and the screenplay worked together to bring it to the screen. I thought it was a very good movie, highly recommended, and if you haven't seen it, go see it, because it's really worth it. Well, that's all for today. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss our future videos. See you in the next video.